In the year 1993, my family made the monumental decision to relocate from Hammerfest to Rørvik due to the revelation of my father's infidelity with his students. The move meant leaving behind not only the town of Hammerfest but also the painful reminders of my father's extramarital relationships. Surprisingly, this significant change also brought about a shift in my mother's beliefs and practices, as she quickly lost interest in witchcraft, no longer feeling the need for it in our new environment. I didn't identify as a Christian then, but I experienced a robust and profound connection with Jesus as we left Hammerfest. It was like he had become a supportive, comforting presence in my life, akin to a protective older brother. This was especially meaningful to me because my biological brother had rejected me, believing that I had been born solely to take his mother away from him. The inaugural year in Rørvik brought a sense of renewal and acceptance that I had never experienced before. Unlike in Hammerfest, where the stigma surrounding my father's situation had alienated me from my peers, in Rørvik, my new classmates showed genuine interest in getting to know me. This profound shift in dynamics was both exhilarating and heartening for me. With my parents contemplating settling down and even considering building a permanent home, I finally felt a glimmer of stability and permanence in my life. But soon, everything would change when my father began to see me as a competitor. Recalling my early days in Rørvik, I am struck by the lasting impact of my father's hurtful words. His comments, driven by a perceived threat from me, chipped away at my self-worth and masculinity. I remember vividly the nights when his relentless criticism made me question my every move. What compounded the distress was my mother's passive stance, her silence amplifying the isolation I felt. It became increasingly clear to me that my father's aim was to ensure that I never rose above him. Despite having friends at school, I hesitated to bring them home, fearing that they would be exposed to my father's hurtful behavior. This decision led to a lack of reciprocal interactions, ultimately resulting in missed opportunities for potential friendships and the deepening of my feelings of loneliness and isolation. In the midst of these events, Margit Sandemo, one of Norway's most celebrated New Age writers, released her compelling New Age novels, Sagan om is Folket, and Heksemesteren. As a passionate reader with a previous, somewhat coerced intrigue in the New Age inspired by my mother, I found a new fascination in these books. There was an uncanny parallel between Sandemo's experiences and my own. She endured bullying, had abusive parents, and grappled with loneliness, all of which I could relate to. When she shared how her novels were channeled to her as a medium and how this process aided her in confronting her past and loneliness, I found myself captivated by her message, despite a lingering feeling of disapproval from Jesus. I used to feel like I could juggle my love for Jesus and my fascination with the New Age world of Margit Sandemo. As time passed, I immersed myself in the religious interpretation of Jesus, which was quite different from the Jesus I had known in my childhood. My grandmother spoke of a Jesus who walked by my side, while religious teachings portrayed Jesus as a distant, heavenly figure. I struggled to grasp this concept, and as a result, I found the promise of Sandemo's spirit guides more alluring. They seemed closer and more accessible compared to the distant Jesus depicted in religious teachings. When my parents made the decision to purchase a house just outside of Rørvik, an area renowned for its rich Viking history, peculiar events started to unfold. The sensation of being watched as I lay in bed at night was unsettling, accompanied by the unsettling sight of shadows flickering across the ceiling. Disappointed with the ineffectiveness of my spirit guides, I sought solace in my grandmother's wisdom, turning to Jesus for comfort. I made the decision to acquire a cross necklace, which ultimately granted me peaceful nights of rest. I underwent a profound transformation in my spiritual journey after breaking away from my spirit guides and re-encountering the teachings of Jesus. As I pondered my beliefs, I hesitated to fully embrace the label of a Christian. The intricate nature of Christian doctrines often felt overwhelming and elusive to me. Nevertheless, I yearned for the uncomplicated, deeply personal connection with Jesus that my grandmother had instilled in me. Little did I realize that my longing for an unpretentious, non-dogmatic faith would set the stage for my current path. However, that's a tale I will save for a future blog post.